Okay, good evening everyone. Let's wait a few more moments, although it says that we should be live. But let's wait for somebody to connect. In the meantime, I'd like to thank, my fly friends that are here. It's quite a lot of them. Welcome everybody. Thank you very much for being here. You are going to be spending this hour with me, with us. It's the 8th of July and we are live on Bridges of Light International. And thank you that you're watching this recording anytime afterwards. And of course, thank you, Gaetano, for having found this platform and everybody that is collaborating. Now I hope it's working because, okay. Oh yes, we are. Good, wonderful. Don't be shy, please write something, comments, questions. Tonight, always, but tonight I really would like us to interact a little bit more than usual. Tonight, this evening, we are going to be talking about life's hidden symmetry. And what do I mean by that? But I'm asking you now as well. What do you think life's hidden symmetry is or are? Because I've been saying that. I believe there's many, many symmetries in life. And what is a symmetry? Let me give you a visual of it. Look at, okay, can you see my hands? Can you see? Okay, that's it. You see from here, from the middle to this hand and this hand, there is a symmetry, meaning it's the same, we can see the same thing, the same pattern. The same thing is here and here, you see? From the middle arm, this is a symmetry. If it was like this, you see this is not asymmetry. This figure is asymmetric, meaning it's not symmetric. This is symmetric. And what I mean by hidden symmetry is this. You see, we know that there is a something which is the same as what we see, but there we go. But it's hidden. There you go. We cannot see what is there. So we see this part of this figure, my two hands, but there is a hidden part. There is. And that's what I mean by symmetry and by hidden symmetry. The hidden symmetry is that part of the whole thing, of whatever we see, that is hidden, that we cannot see. And I'm going to wait a little bit more to see if anybody wants to interact before I'm going to give you an example to explain what I mean by life, by one of the major hidden symmetry of life. That I regard this to be let's say the fundamental one. It's one of those hidden symmetry that once we have understood and seen, it can make our life much, much easier, and it gives us much more power. It gives us when we see this symmetry, we can see the power that we have in our life. We can see why things are the way they are, and once we have understood that, we can then choose and decide to change our life circumstances by addressing and changing our hidden symmetry. And I'm gonna I'm gonna wait a little bit longer, because if somebody joins me now, they wouldn't. Hello, Loredana. Great to see you here. Thank you for writing something. I want to wait for a few more people to be on, because if I start talking, whoever joins us later, if they didn't get the beginning of what I'm telling you now, they wouldn't understand what is going on. That's why I like the interaction. But of course, for you that are going to see this later on, you would understand everything. Hello, Anna Rosa. Okay, let me repeat for you really quickly. I'm going to talk about the one life symmetry, that symmetry that exists in life. You see, these two ends are symmetric. There's a hidden symmetry in life that we cannot see, that once we are aware of, can allow us to become the master of our life, and everything becomes much easier, in the sense that when we know the hidden symmetry, when we know the dynamic that we couldn't see before, we understand much more about others, about ourselves, and how we create our reality. But let's get down to it. Imagine this. Imagine that, actually, I'll tell you the story as if I was in the person living the story. Imagine that I am working in this big company, and I work in an office, and next to my office there's another big space where there's lots of there's a huge open office. You know, these offices when many people work side by side, and they share the same space. Now, in this office next door to mine, not where I work. Hey, Evelyn, great to see you here. Great. Hello, Emanuela. So in this office where I work, in the same company, mine in another office, there's two friends of mine, which now for this case, for just to give an idea, they're called Bick and Buck, let's call them, okay? Now, I know Bick and Buck for a long time. And also next door, there's another two friends of mine, which now we'll call them Tick and Tack, that I also know since many years. It's playing Trilly Tricks. Oh really? Can you not see me, or can everybody see me and hear me properly? Because to me everything seems to be okay so far. Can everybody, Emanuela or Anna Rosa, Loredana, could you confirm that you see me and you hear me okay? Let me see if I have to get this off. It's okay now, maybe my hand. Okay, yes, I do a lot. Okay, Sonia, thank you. You can, okay. Now, Evelyn, I don't know if you just arrived or everybody else. By the way, Evelyn, after I give you the example I'm talking about to show you what I think it's one of the biggest life hidden symmetry, if you want, you can join me. But to give you an idea, I don't want to tell you what the symmetry I am thinking of. But okay, let me tell you the story, and hopefully you understand. Let's imagine I work in the company. I've been working in this company for years. I work in one office. In the office next door, there's 4 friends of mine that I know since many years. Okay, Evelyn, yes, I'll see you later then. There's friends of mine that I've been knowing for many years. Bick and Buck is a couple of friends, and Tick and Tack, let's call them. 2 weeks ago, only 2 weeks ago, 2 new people have come to work in the same company we all work for, but they don't work with me. They work in the office where Bick and Buck and Tick and Tack work. one day I was at the coffee machine, the communal coffee machine during a break, and I see Bick and Buck having a coffee, and I say, oh, hey, how are you? And they say, I'm fine, thanks. And they tell me, you know, Luca, there's these two new people, Sick and Suck, let's call them. They have just arrived 2 weeks ago. We can't stand them. We don't like them. We think they're really lazy. We think that they are not friendly at all. I don't think they're professional. They're not good. Hello, Helen. Welcome. They're not good at what they're doing. And we even tried to have a drink with them outside from work, and they were really unfriendly. We really wish that they leave the company pretty soon. We have to go. Bye-bye. Ciao. Okay. Right. So Bick and Buck told me that Sick and Suck, we call them, I can't remember, these new people anyway, they were lazy, they were unfriendly, they were unprofessional, and so on and so forth. Now, an hour later, I'm back by the coffee machine, having a coffee, and I see these other two people that I've been working with for years, which we call them, I can't remember, Sick and Suck. Anyway, these other two colleagues of mine. And they tell me, oh, you know, Luca, you know these two new people that they've just arrived 2 weeks ago? We love them. They are wonderful people. They are friendly, they're professional, they're really efficient. We have even been going out with them for drinks after work. And you know, I think you should meet them because they're wonderful. And we really hope that they're gonna stay in the company forever. We have to go. Bye-bye. Okay, and they go. Now, that left me thinking, okay, now, I haven't seen these new two people that they came to work in the company 2 weeks ago, and I have heard two exactly different opinions from 4 people that I know for a long time. So what I decided to do was, okay, let me see what's happening. Let me see if what they told me makes sense. So for the next 3 days, I decided that I would be taking a look in their office and see how these two new people were behaving with my friends. And you know what I realized? After a few days, I realized that the first couple, that the one that told me that the newcomers, they were unfriendly, they were unprofessional, they were inefficient, they were actually telling me something that they had a reason to tell me that. Although the way that they approached the new people, they were doing it with such an attitude that these two new people, they were reacting to them in a way that was confirming the fact that they found them unfriendly. I could see that between them, the energy, the exchange was not really a positive one. And I could also notice that it was the opposite with the other couple. The couple that talked to me in a positive way about the two new comers, the two new employees, their relationship was of a different kind. The energy, the vibration between them was of a harmonious kind, and the way they were relating to each other was friendly. And yes, I could see that they were actually, these new people, they were helping them as much as they could. But then, because I knew the people that I've been working with for years, I could then, and that's when the penny drops, that's when I realized the hidden symmetry in this situation. I could see that the first couple of friends I met at the coffee machine, they were the ones that they were talking negatively about the new people, they were telling me almost the same things about all the other people in the company and about their life situations. In other words, their attitude about others and about life was quite of a negative kind. And at the same time, and that was a symmetrically opposite experience, I could see it in the couple of friends that I've been working with for many years, that they normally used to tell me positive things about everybody that they encounter, hello Giovanna, that they encounter in the company and about their life. So I realized that the hidden symmetry in this situation was the attitude of the people I was working with. So the first couple, inside, hidden in between themselves, they, for whatever reason, they didn't like these two new people, and they were projecting, they were approaching them with a negative attitude. So the newcomers, they were reacting to this hidden energy. And the opposite thing was working with the second couple of friends, the one that they said that they were wonderful people. They had a positive attitude towards them. Have you ever noticed anything similar in your life, or somebody that you know manifesting the same situation? In other words, can you see the hidden symmetry that creates life experiences in either yourself or people that you know? Hello, Maria. I am very much interested in this because when I realized that there was a hidden, unknown to me symmetry in my life, which it was basically, in other words, my own inner consciousness, was my own inner beliefs and judgments about myself, about life circumstances and others, that was creating my life as it was. When I realized that, all I had to do is to change my inner consciousness, to change what I believed, about myself, about others, and about life. And when I chose to believe, to think, and to feel positive thoughts, positive emotions, and to act in a positive way towards myself, others, and life, everything changed. Everything totally changed. But something else that I want you to consider in the story that I've just told you is that the two couples, while they were telling me something about somebody else, in reality, they were telling me very, very little about the other people. But they were communicating to me a lot about themselves. And this is what I would like you to notice from now on, unless you already do it, keep on doing it. When people talk, very often, what they are definitely telling you, it's a lot about themselves. They are communicating a lot about themselves. They are communicating to you what is their hidden consciousness, what is that they believe about something. And the way, in fact, that they talk to you, to us, about whatever it is. Hey, ciao Silvia, welcome. The way they talk about that something or that somebody is telling us their beliefs, is telling us a lot about themselves and not about the others, or not so much. It could be, but you never know. In fact, have you seen these two people, these two couples? They were telling me completely symmetrically opposite stories about somebody I've never seen. And I could have believed either of them. Can you see? And what would have happened? It would have happened that I would have created in myself a hidden, I call it, this is for the sake of this today title, a hidden symmetry that would have projected out, this is what we see, this is in my consciousness, would have projected out something not real, something that it was the product, it was the cause of my consciousness. And chances are that if I believed the first couple that they told me, that they were saying to me negative things about the newcomers, maybe the newcomers would have showed me their unfriendly side. But not because they're unfriendly, because I believed they were unfriendly. And also, if I believed the second couple, chances are that they would have shown me their friendly side. But this is the point. The reality is that the newcomers, they can be just as unfriendly and just as friendly like I can or anybody else can. It's all a matter of what we choose to be in any given time and what we choose to believe about anybody else or ourselves in life in any given time. Let me read somebody. Oh yes, Helen, thank you for writing something. This is how I like it, by the way, guys. Interaction. Because if nobody writes anything, I talk, of course, but I don't know. It's not a live. It's called Facebook Live because it's live. Because then we hooked upon and we carry on a thread of something that is interesting from both of us. If I only talk myself, if I only talk, I don't know if what I say is interest of you or not. So thank you, Helen, for sharing this. What do you say? Ellen says, this is one of the first thing I learned from you. So true. Thank you. I'm glad you're sharing this. Yes, it is. Hello, Silvia. This for me was one of the biggest eye opener in life. Hello, Annalisa. Evelyn says, you're here. I thought you're gone. Evelyn, yes, at any given time we choose. Evelyn, if you're here and if you want to pop in, let me know. Okay, if you don't, that's fine. But yes, and so the hidden symmetry that I wanted to point out to you is exactly this. What we consider to be a cause, what we consider to be an effect in life, it is always already the cause of our own inner consciousness. I'm going to repeat this because this is fundamental for what we're talking about. We believe in cause and effect in this realm, in this four-dimensional reality. And for the four-dimensional time, space, I, width, and time. In this reality, we think that A causes B, that causes C, and so on and so forth. But, and now it is science. I'm not just making this up. There's a book, by the way, if anybody ever read it, has not read it yet, I would advise you to read it. It's called, I can't remember, from Biocentrism, The Theory of Biocentrism, written by Robert Lanza. Is somebody that, give it time, I bet is going to be considered the next Einstein. Is the one that was involved with the experiment of Dolly, you know, the staminal, where they use staminal cells to duplicate sheep. Yes, and he, from studies that he conducted, is now openly, and he wrote a book and he does conferences all over the world, is now out there saying to everybody, to the scientific community, what, by the way, the great master, the great spiritual master have been saying for centuries. Is saying the paradigm that science has been based upon, it is faulty. It's actually the opposite of what we believed to be. Might be towards the end, whenever you want, Evelyn. So science and lots of scientists today still believe that matter is at the base of everything, meaning biology and matter, basically. Everything organic is at the base of everything. And then what we call consciousness, like thoughts and energy, comes after. First is matter and then comes consciousness. It is not like that. It's the opposite. In other words, Consciousness, pure energy, comes first. Thoughts, energy comes first, and matter comes. So this is it's totally against materialism. And what this proves is that, but the Bible or all religions, they've always say that first there was the thoughts and then the words and then matter came, meaning there's an intelligence behind everything. But let's keep it as individuals. Let's not go into what God is or is not. That means that what our life is the manifestation, the projection of our own expectations. This doesn't mean that we can materialize everything just with our thinking, but what we can materialize, and we've all been there, it's how we perceive life circumstances and how we perceive other people. If I believe that I am unlucky, and I used to believe that many years ago, I was unlucky. Life was, it was almost like magic. It was mirroring back what I believed. I believed that people were not trustworthy. And of course, I was already selecting untrustworthy people. Of course, there were many people that they were in fact very trustworthy, but I was selecting what I was believing. And it's so crystal clear now to me that now that I believe that everybody in my life is a friend, is a brother, is a sister, everybody's life doesn't give me anything but angels. That simple belief, the simple changing that in my hidden inside consciousness, it's creating a totally different manifestation in my life. And this is not even anything metaphysical or spiritual. Has it ever happened to you, think about this, that you decide that you want to buy a new car, and let's say you want to buy a Golf. Now, before that day, you almost never seen many Golfs around. After you decided to buy that Golf or that dress or that pair of trousers or whatever it is, something particular, you see them everywhere. It's amazing. It's you think, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, now I see this kind of cars everywhere, or this dress or this jacket or whatever everywhere. Why is that? That is, it's amazing. Why is that? It's because there's everything everywhere in the universe, literally everything. But in any given moment in time, we are structured that we can take in a definite amount of information, definite amount of data we can elaborate and focus upon. And there is a part of our brain which is called the reticular activating system, which is almost like a grid, like a filter, that selects whatever it is that we unconsciously, or, and this is the invite as always, consciously from now on, choose to focus upon. If we never heard of what we are talking about here, our reticulating system, hello Walter, reticulating system filters out and detects everything that we have been unconsciously programmed to focus upon. Many years ago, because of my life circumstances and society where I grew up, which is, I guess, the same where you grew up, more or less, I was more drawn to focus upon negativity. I was more drawn to focus upon things I was fearful of. And guess what? My reticular activating system was selecting all this data everywhere, and it was showing them to me. And what that does is that consolidates what we believe about something. It consolidates our hidden symmetry that produced our manifested symmetry, which is our life. So if we choose now, and this is what I invite you to do, as always, if you choose now what you wish to see in your life, chances are, of course, here we're not, I'm not saying that this is it, you know, you want it, you get it like this. Of course not. It's a journey, but we know that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And the most challenging step is the very first one. So from now on, let's do it together. Take a moment and think, reflect. Imagine we were doing a mini stop time, mini reflection and kind of a micro meditation. Think of an area in your life in which you would like things to be different. It could be anything. It could be maybe you have issues with somebody you work with. It could be you don't like where you work. It could be an issue with somebody in your family. Now, think and reflect on what could be this hidden symmetry that we have been talking about up to now. Now, in other words, at first, your mind may present you with the fact, meaning he or she of my job is difficult, challenging, is this or that or the other. Okay, fine. Now, go inside of yourself and ask yourself, what could be my beliefs that may have generated this, and where could it have come from? If you do this properly, you may, or you may not, but you may realize and see that you were simply projecting something that happened to you in the past, maybe in a previous job or with somebody else, upon this person or this situation. And that there is more to do with what happened to you in the past, what was your past experience, that what is actually happening with this person. And what am I inviting you to do now? It's, okay, you have different choices now, as always. The choices are infinite. You could drastically change what you were telling yourself about the situation or the person, although it may be too big of a jump. In other words, if you have believed until now that somebody is difficult or a job is unfulfilling, maybe for you to think now, oh, is an easygoing person, this job is very exciting, maybe too much. But what you can do, and what I invite you to do then, is you can choose to believe that you are open and willing to see something that you haven't seen before, and to experience something that you haven't experienced before in relation to this person or to this situation. In other words, just open yourself up, open your mind up, create the space where something else may show up, and then you can base your opinions upon what you will see. But unless we do that, unless we are able to question or to think maybe there is another reality that I haven't seen, that I haven't considered, and I don't even have to know what it may be. Unless we do that, most probably because of the way our mind is structured, life will always confirm us what we believed originally to be true. I hope I was clear enough. Now, if anybody has got any questions, any comments, I would like to hear them. If not, I'd like you to consider that I haven't truly seen anyone who is living a difficult life, a challenging life, and it's obvious. I mean, they have economic problems. Maybe they have also health issues or relationship problems, and they have got a very positive and obviously a positive mental attitude, and you can see that they have a positive attitude in life. Hey, ciao Clemente, hello. I haven't seen anybody like that. And now again, take a moment and think and reflect on people you know, and try and see the symmetry that there is between their life situation and the way they speak about their life and their situations and others. And do it. Take a moment now and really reflect on it. This is important. This is the work in brackets that I would like you to do. Because when you truly realize and see, notice this, is like we were saying before, when you see one kind of cars, you see them everywhere. When you realize this dynamic, you will see them, the dynamic, and then you can see it in others and in yourself, and then you have the key to freedom. Then you can know how you want to behave from now on. Hello, good evening. Hi, Evelyn, you are there. Let me see. Now what's okay, you should be appearing in it. Hey, welcome.
Hello.
I have to take this off, otherwise I cannot hear you. 1 second. The mic. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, I can hear you now. Wonderful.
Now,
I'm glad you're
now
here.
now is a good time to get to join you because I was getting ready to do my own at 7 o'clock.
I totally understand you. The thing is that I don't know. You see somebody's name and you don't know if they've been there 2 seconds, 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And yes. And today I started telling a story about myself and where I work. And
I heard you. I heard the story.
Okay.
I was listening because my daughter came up to the living room and says, "Who's the man talking?" And I says, "Well, I'm listening to the man, Aaron Roses."
So tell me, what's your take on all this? On what we talked about?
Well, absolutely, because it's come up today a few times for people, this whole scenario. And as I say, I don't know what I'm going to speak about at 7 o'clock, but it's always on the same lines as well, Luca, that
Yes.
at any given time, we can choose to feed into the victim mode.
Yeah.
And this, I absolutely believe that because of different vibrations or energies or whatever, people either choose to see themselves as a victim or as a martyr. And then we can feed into that by saying, yes, you were right, and poor you, and we only increase that energy really, even though we believe that we're a kind of helping, but you're feeding constantly into it. But as I say, people can only act out of wherever they're at any level of consciousness at any given time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Totally, absolutely. Yes. And this is, I really truly feel like you said, this is what we're doing. This is if this is the core of it, and this is why I think it's it's important to talk, always bring it back to it, and we can give it, we can say it in different way, we can bring in, take the address the issues from a different angle, but at the end, the core of it is, as you say, it's who do we choose to be? What do we choose to believe? Because the outside reality, it's amazing. It's the reflection of our inner consciousness. And this is so simple, but sometimes it's the simplest thing that the mind thinks it's too simple to be true, too easy to be true. And it goes, oh yes, I know that. And then I see people, and then I always feel I ask them, but if you knew that, why isn't your life as wonderful as you want it to be? Because you still haven't got it. And I'm here to tell you again and again and again until the penny drops. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it'll only drop when something happens. Sometimes in our lives, something nearly tragic has to happen. Sometimes a body, the physical body, has to take people to a halt because they don't know how to be still. They're afraid to be still. So that's why we work, keep ourselves busy so that they don't have to think. And then there's so much then, when it's your time to stop, you'll be brought to a halt one way or another. If it's your time to shift or move, and again, you get the choice to remain the victim or to move on really past that. And I see it, especially this week. I said to my friend, we had our phone call at normally 6:30 in the morning. I says, get through this week to Sunday and things will start shifting. And they paid me a surprise visit today from a 3-hour journey. And there was a snowball of things that did happen. But he said, because of the conversation we had, he says, it's amazing. Because if your ego, if I talk about this all now and I have nothing to talk about, but we can never say it enough times. If we believe that we have mastered our thoughts about what I say about myself, your ego and everything, remember, is one energy. So my something else through your voice, you could say like, Evelyn, who do you think you are to be on here? And you know, if I get triggered by it, will find a way. Ego's very smart. It's very smart, and it comes in many forms. It comes in, trust me, I know what's best for you, and then it's got you too, you know. So it's being alert, isn't it, and being aware.
Yes, absolutely. Let me just, hello, Ilaria. Ciao. Oh, yes, see you next time, Ilaria. I have a question, because you said that yes, some people would rather die, and the point of the life almost is ending, and they haven't. What do you think is the biggest obstacle? Of course, I'm generalizing. Why do you think people have got some sort of maybe of resistance to make the shift?
Well, everything's
or
based
one
around
of the reasons.
fear.
Yeah.
Everything's fear. Fear of where you stay. And then we offshots of fear. Self-doubt, self-worth, confidence. That you will make. We think it's fear, but I'm ready to love myself now. So every choice we make that isn't for us, it's out of fear, regret. It's still a feeling of that we had to do it on. And you'll even feel like if a family or something happens worldwide where people say that puts things into perspective. And for a bit of a glimpse, they see perspective, but then that perspective is short-lived. You know?
Could they go back to it? Yes, yes. You made me think now of, because some people are, you hear also personally truly don't know, and I think that many people in many ways. But for whatever is going on, right, with the pandemic, you see, you need some people. I've heard people saying, "Oh, this is great. Humanity now has got the opportunity to understand what has done wrong and to wake up and smell the coffee, and everything is going to be done differently from now on." And then some other people say, "Do you know what? Give it time. When everything goes in the back burner, everything is going to go back like it was. And I personally think, well, like we were saying before, it's different people, different beliefs, and there is some people that will do one thing and some people will do another thing. Yes, it's and I think that's the beauty of life. I mean, everybody can choose in any.
And that's what it's down to. It is really down to through this time. And even though what I have done I've done a lot of dancing, going out doing classes, it's clear that period in my life, many, many years, has now came to end. Although I haven't disclosed all that information to the ladies, I don't think that it'll be on here. But I'm clear in that, and I'm not afraid to let that, because when I done my last year the other night online, I new chapter, because I stepped away from things before, and it wasn't that I hated it, it was because my love and passion had no longer have served its time there. To hand it over to someone else that will bring love and joy, and rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it or for the sake of getting money. So that's I chose, and perhaps on to my daughter, my son, in my life. I'm not responsible for decisions are that they choose to make.
Yes, yes. What would you say to if somebody came to you and said, "Oh, do you know what? I behave the way I behave in my life, and my life is a mess because of the belief I was exposed to. Choice in it.
Yeah.
This is it."
Well, I could pick two choices. I could say, well, do you want to listen about my life? I could have been shot. I could have been blew up. We had very little. And certainly, yes, if you wanted to match people with a story, if somebody came and told me their story, I certainly would listen. I would ask for them, what do you want? Not what you don't want. Tell me what you do want. And if they really want change, let's shift rid of this old victim. Because you blame and blame and blame, there's no need for you to change. It's easier then to blame others for the reason as to why I don't change. And I have no judgment on anybody that chooses to do that.
Yes, yes, I think that the core of the matter it's in what you say is, do we want to change? And if somebody speaks like that, maybe yes, the underlying reason is strong enough to change. Otherwise, everything would just shift.
And it's a waste of my energy, and it's a waste of their breath telling me a story if they're not wanting a different.
Yes. You reminded me of something that happened to me years ago. I was amazed on myself after I asked this question to this client. Okay, many still practice what is called reconnective healing. It's a form of energy healing. This girl, okay, she was in her early 30s. She had a crutch. She was walking with a crutch because she had quite a serious illness, right? And there was and her son that were waiting outside in the car. But something in me was going, wait a moment, there's something that just doesn't match here. But I didn't know what it was. Clemente said there's some connection problem. I hope it's only him or Clara. Okay, if anybody has got problems, let me know.
Because you're coming
from our end,
she to me, yeah. Sometimes it's really? A wee bit, the connection's a bit funny. So maybe, I don't know if my connection's a bit like that to you.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah. But,
it's okay.
Yes, I was saying this girl came and she sat down and we talked. And at one bang on, I asked her like this, and I normally don't, but do you truly want to get better? Do you really your illness? And you know what? She like it, if I didn't have my illness, I would have to work. I would have to do this. This wouldn't happen. And it is long list of being in a situation. I looked at it and went, you know what? You have time. We haven't done anything. You could just stand up and leave, because you may be just, no, I'm gonna do this. We did whatever. I haven't seen it, and I don't know. You see, I'm being to her, wanted to prove to others, did she really truly want to change? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it is.
You
it
see,
is. It's not.
Sickness sometimes. Attention. You can get attention being sick, and sometimes it even, like, when people go back into their childhood, they may have to do something big to get attention. And sickness does bring lady that I used to meet in the shop, and I used to try, when I seen her, you're a question, meet somebody in the, you know, what's the crack?
Yeah.
And it was a woman that
What's the crack?
because the list would start, and the lady talked, has, you know, you're like, oh Jesus, you know, not today again. But she talked much that, you know, eventually, and then she proved herself right.
Yeah. Hello, Helen. Helen, yes, that's exactly. That's the hidden symmetry that I was talking about. We're talking about. That's their own inner dialogue. It was so negative that would manifest. I mean, this is how powerful we are. It's just.
I think people don't really parent to others, that we're so engrossed in this pain and this sickness and in ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we say, nobody will come and see me, nobody will come and visit me, because it really does not serve them well all this time coming. It's like somebody coming to you for coaching and nothing is changing. It's pointless. You're only wanting another ear to offload your pain and stuff like that. And I understand people's sufferings and pains and stuff that they come through, but I also am a big champion for those that will fight through and do what it takes in order to make changes in their life.
I totally understand. And you know what, Ike? Nowadays, I am when I realize it doesn't happen often. But if I realize that I'm working with somebody for whatever reason, and if I realize that they're not really in it, that they're just into their stories and they want me to feed me with the story, and they're not willing to let go of that, I sometimes very firmly, very matter of fact, or sometimes more gently, I have them to understand that we are just not. You see what I mean? That's either it comes a point and it's a decision. Enough is enough. I want to change my life, and all it takes is a baby step. It doesn't. But if that sounds late, it's very difficult from an outside source. It happened. Don't you think? I could persuade you. I could try to bring up for you all the reason why there's no point for you to remain in your situation. all the reason that you could benefit from moving from your situation. But I don't know what your hidden symmetry and agenda could be. And if that's, and if you're really invested in, and for some people, you know, that has been such a strategy, like you were saying before, for some people, that was the only way for them to be loved, to be noticed, maybe, to cry, to say, I'm not well, because otherwise nobody would listen to them. So it's not easy to say that to somebody, maybe it's over 30 or 40 or 50 years old, to have them realize, you know, you don't need that dysfunctional strategy in life to live happily. You can drop it. But of course, the fear behind, like you say, it's about fear. It's so big because they never thought about being any different. They don't know about it. So it's a huge step for them.
Look, at just that, if the people are listening, because the signal here, you're coming through to me very pixelated. So I just want to see what the viewing's like for you or for people that's watching it.
For me, everything is perfect. I can see you perfectly, hear you perfectly. Let me see. And now anybody can, Helena, are you, if you are on, I see you came on last. Hello. Can you let me know what is the picture for you? Can you see properly? Can you hear properly? Clemente was saying that there were connection problems. I can see. Okay, I'm looking at yeah, everything seems to be okay from my end, but I don't know.
That's all right. It'll give me a heads up for 7 o'clock because it could be these all whatever's stirring about, and I'll just take it as it is. I'll just accept it as it is and carry on then.
Yeah, well, we realize when we put it up.
Watch it back.
Yes.
Yeah, but that, you know what everything boils down to too. Look, it's really the energies, you know, too, that we're surrounded by, that we choose to make an effort or to do every day. There's 2 ladies this week, and the significance of even watching the news, they didn't think it was of any big significance, but they just needed to feel that they were being informed, and that they weren't playing a part in creating fear. And then I tried to say, well, look, listen, hear this out and try it for a week. Substitute the news for, I sent them through Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh. I said, substitute the news for that.
I love.
And omitting that, because as soon as you wake up first thing in the morning, the habits were open my eyes, put on the news, make a cup of tea, get dressed, get in the car, go to work, probably listen to more news, listen to everybody at work, come home and watch maybe more, you know, news or stuff. But even by giving energy, by feeding into anything, and if the news is just we're hearing it verbally or listening to it or hearing it, is that we have given attention to that, and that will make us feel a certain way. We will feel angry, we might feel sad, we might feel judgment, and we are collectively feeding into that energy, therefore creating more of it.
Yes.
So I'm next week testing the news and substituting it with positive thinking, positive, that how it works. And the best of it was they were into reading books, positive books, and things like this. But it's this, those are the other things that, hold on a wee minute. How is this making me feel any better by listening, by watching? And my life absolutely will survive the very best.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's great piece of advice, which I like. Oh, we got less than 1 minute. But yes, on this note, this is the invite. Be mindful of what you take in your consciousness. Are the news something that is feeding you with positive messages? What you're seeing, what you're reading, what you're saying. So make sure you take in something positive, and then ask yourself, what is my hidden symmetry? What is in my consciousness? Am I thinking, feeling, and then saying and acting in a positive way or not? If you are, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not, change it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you, Luca.
I love you very much. And well, you're gonna be right on now.
It's like one out, one in.
Yeah.
Are you away
Thank you
then?
so
Is
much
that
for
you
coming
finished?
in.
Are you leaving now?
I'm gonna stay on for a bit longer. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not gonna go away straight away. No.
Okay.
But
Maybe
yeah.
you could join me for the first half. Do you want to?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah,
So we'll
that's
be
good.
on for another half an hour, 20 minutes or something.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good,
Fantastic.
good.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right.
No, but in fact, when I saw today, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I'm here. If that was the case, you would be my day tonight. So yes, I don't have to rush anywhere.
I got dressed up for you and everything, but my lips.
Yeah, wonderful. I'll see you soon. Ciao, everybody. We're going to see each other on Saturday again, 6 o'clock from 6 to 7. And the title is going to be The Wellbeing Formula. 10 points that, if adhered to, they could really change your life. Ciao, everybody. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.
Okay.